Hey everybody, it's Matt here, and someone is sawing something somewhere near my house. That's odd, and there's a plane going up. Everything's great. This is going to start off really, really well. So, either way, I'm Matt, and today we're doing another update video, specifically for January 2020, which reminds me, I hope you all had a happy holidays and a happy new year. I'm going to get higher and higher to go over the saw over there. Either way, hope you guys had fun. I don't know if I did yet. I'm recording this in advance, so we'll find out. Maybe together, I don't know. Either way, let's talk about last month a little bit, as I usually do with some of these updates. I thought it went well. Sadly, did not get to meet certain goals that I would have liked to, but I did throw a few surprises in there for you guys, so hope you did enjoy it. Who is sawing something? What is this? You guys hear that, right? But the show must go on. So, talking about January for a second, I actually want to tell you guys that not only will this video be covering January, it will find a way to cover the entirety of 2020. Now, not in detailed fashion, but I will talk about how the schedule is changing for 2020 in some very interesting ways. So, before I do that, though, I want to talk about why the schedule is changing. So, 3 reasons. The third I'll actually put off till the end of the video. So, first things first, due to my general mental health, I want to make sure that I keep that in check, and instead of taking longer, let's say, vacations, if you will, I want to try to change how we release our content so that it doesn't not only put some undue stress on me, because what's happening is if I put too much on my plate, my brain says, you have too much, so then don't do it, and then you're the ones with less content. So why do that to not only myself and then have that end up affecting you guys as well, since you have less content? So it doesn't make any sense to me. And the second reason why is because I'm actually starting a new job in January, so because of that, again, the schedule is changing. Now, it's not going to go from the releases that we have now, which is 3 to 5 a week, to 0. Not at all, but there will be some changes to the channel, of course. So in what ways are they changing, right? Well, really, it depends on what kind of content is being put out that week, or in some cases, even that month. So basically, if I have something that is, let's say, a lot easier to put out, not easy, 1, 2, 3, snap your fingers. I didn't snap my finger there. 1, 2, 3, snap your fingers. But something like an unboxing or a let's play, there is a chance that things can change for the better in those cases. And I could put out a 3 to 5 unboxings, or even 3 to 5 let's plays, or kind of mix and match them in a given week, depending on how many I have done in advance. So I am planning on filming some more let's plays in the near future, usually by myself, just because it's much harder to get people around, because they also have jobs, and none of them live as close to me as I would like, sadly, none on the block. So it does become a little bit difficult to coordinate some of that. Now, when it comes to let's plays, let's say like RPGs, much longer ones like Kingdom Hearts, Pokemon, Paper Mario, things like that, they will be shifted to either YouTube live streams or stuff on our Twitch. I also should have mentioned this earlier. Definitely follow us, not just on Twitch, that'll be in the description box down below, but our Twitter at Those Guys Radio, and our Facebook, facebook.com/Those Guys on the Radio, really will help you guys kind of follow along with some of the shifts and changes depending on the week. So already we got unboxings and let's plays out of the way. Again, content that I don't want to say is extremely easy to just kind of throw out there, because encoding and editing does take time, but it still is definitely easier than some of the other more scripted heavy videos that I have been producing and want to produce more of in 2020. Also, by the way, when I think of a let's play, I'm not just counting Matt Beats Games from his childhood. I'm also counting things like Super Sleepover, counting things like not for resales, a little bit higher tier, if you will. It gets a little bit harder to kind of edit around. And also, same thing with Matt Plays PS1 demo discs. So they're a little bit harder to do because, getting, especially with the PS1 demo discs, getting just a hodgepodge of games, that can be a bit more difficult to kind of put together, them being like 30-minute or sometimes hour-long videos, trying to cut that down. But either way, though, so just mentioning it's Let's Plays and unboxings. Then it's some of the more harder to edit Let's Plays And then it goes to scripted content. Actually, even before scripted content, it goes to content like first impressions. Really fun stuff that I had a really fun time doing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those as well. Looked like you guys did. So some more of those will be coming out in 2020. But even going higher than that, now we're getting into like what a hack territory where I write, some scripts for Clone Corner. We're getting to the reviews. So when it gets to stuff like that, it may, in certain cases, be the only video that's put out that week. Much different, by the way. I somehow almost skipped over TG tutorials, which we do, which definitely do get a lot of you guys talking, get a lot of questions, get a lot of answers from me. So when it comes to TG tutorials, those can come out 2 times a week. Right, because again, they're a bit hard to do because there's writing, there's video, and there's audio components to it. There's also a bunch of other editing that has to go into it as well, which is why even though one might think, even though we're on Teach Tutorials right now, one might think that some of the videos about, let's say, 5 fan translations for games that we never got here in the US. Some of you might think, you just, that's not that difficult. It's only your voice. You seem to be kind of riffing it a bit more, no scripts. But what ends up happening is recording those games for, let's say, an hour a piece. That's 5 hours right there. Then it's the recording, then it's the editing, then it's the encoding, then it's getting some of the music for it. So altogether, that actually does not seem as easy as one might think. It's much easier to film one of those, to actually let's play one of those, than it is to actually create that type of content. But that's kind of content that I do want to create. But when something like that comes out, there might not be another video on the channel for the whole week or for 2 weeks after that. Again, our social media will tell you that in a reply down after the video or within the same post itself. So we will keep you guys updated on that. But usually when a video like that comes out, might be the only one that week. When it comes to reviews, funnily enough though, even though there is a video component to it beginning at the end of them, I do think that the way that especially the way that I have reviews over the past year that are really, really close to completion, I do think that we can actually get 2 to 3 reviews out in any given week, funnily enough, at the least 2. So that might not change as much, actually. But if it does, and because of course the new job and everything like that, yes, that will be, in some cases, the only video that week. Now, what I'm really building towards, though, 2 things. What I'm really building towards, though, are videos that are a bit more mini documentary-esque, where I've written some scripts, I've played certain games that I really do want to be able to write about, not really as a review, but really is as, kind of edutainment for you guys. But what's ended up happening this past year is I've been so caught up in doing other types of videos that I've really enjoyed doing, but it's ended up kind of pulling me away from doing more heavily scripted content simply due to the fact that, well, I have to put out, 1 video every other day or 3 to 5 videos a week or something like that. And then that pulls me away from something that I really want to try and do and have a lot of fun with, just kind of focusing on maybe some games you guys have never heard of. So, and again, not in a review fashion, just in a kind of like, ooh, look at this really interesting thing. But kind of looking at it from, not just from, oh, this is the game, also looking at it, looking at the devs and things like that, and even also looking into dev history and the history of some of the artists that, that are behind some of these games. So I want to do stuff that, again, is a bit more script heavy, but in trying to release 3 a week no matter what, or 4 or 5 a week no matter what, it definitely ends up pulling me in so many different, so many other directions. Also, by the way, wanted to mention, when it comes to Matt Rants, and I'm referring to news-based, not just kind of my random opinion that I'll throw out every now and again, that shouldn't be that difficult to film and do, but when it comes to a Matt Rant that, I did for a bit this past year, which was all news for an entire episode of a podcast, those actually, when I do those will actually be available on our Podbean. We have a Podbean now. We've moved over from blogtalkradio.com to Podbean, so you can check that out, by the way, in the description box down below. I'm now uploading all of our archived stuff from Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel, or our general podcast that I do also upload archived there as well. So those are going there, and Back in My Day is going there. Now, it's not going to only be there. Of course, Back in My Day will be here as well whenever I get the chance to film with someone, trying to go for once a month, but that's probably not going to be the case, sadly. So anyway, so those, a video like that, like a back in my day, will be audio only. And it will be available on Podbean. And again, you can follow us on social media to find out when those will be available. And one of the backlogged ones will be up, though, within... Actually, it may already be up by the time this video is out. And, yeah, so you can definitely listen to it there, or, of course, you can watch it on the YouTube channel whenever we do get to put some of those out. So when it comes to kind of what I'm also working towards outside of the channel, because I talked about a lot of the changes to the channel and the new job and mental health, but one thing that I'm really working towards in 2020, interestingly enough, is writing a book. And I don't want to talk about too much, about what's the book's going to entail. It's going to be gaming, of course, retro gaming in particular, but I'm not going to talk about the topic much here, if at all, because I really want to iron some stuff out before I get the chance to do that and kind of update you guys on what's that's going to entail, who's going to be in the book, if I can get some guest spots and things like that. But what I do want to say is that I want to get this not 100% complete, but in a state where we can potentially have a Kickstarter within the next 6 months. And if you guys are, want to guess on what it's about, you can comment down below. But it might actually shock you. Although if you're a fan of some of our stuff that's on Those Guys on the Radio and TG Productions, might not shock you as much. But it's definitely going to be some interesting stuff. And I'm going to see, again, if we can get some maybe other YouTubers on this with me. Of course, again, have to, putting aside the Kickstarter, have to also save up some money because you got to pay people for their work. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to see, what can happen through all of that. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a really fun and interesting year. Also, as we're wrapping this up, I usually mention this in the updates. I'm pretty sure I have recently. We also have a Patreon and we have t-shirts as well. Should be having some new / old t-shirt designs. We actually had a lot on our old cafe press, but we stopped using that, so I have to get some of those designs and actually throw them on our TeePublic account. I don't know why I forgot about the name of the place that we have our shirts on. Either way, though, definitely going to have some new shirt designs as well in 2020. If you guys want to rep some TGP merch, definitely check that store out. And also, I mentioned our Patreon because even though I've mentioned the schedule for 2020, if there are specific videos that you want to see us do, definitely check out our Patreon, patreon.com/TGProductions, and you can craft, not just for this channel, but also some of our other channels as well, the kind of content that we do. Either way, everybody, thank you all so much for tuning in as always. If you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm assuming if you got to this point in the video, in this specific update video, you've already subscribed at the very least. But either way, though, comment down below for what videos you want to see coming up this month, and maybe if you want any series to return potentially. Oh, I should mention, save this for the last moment, even the book should have triumphed everything, but now one more piece of news is coming up. Those Guys Play season 6 is actually coming out later this year, so hope you guys enjoy it. All right, everybody, 2020 is going to be a very, very fun year, so see ya.